Good people do not need laws to tell them to act responsibly, while bad people will find a way around the laws. Ignorance, the root and stem of all evil. One of the penalties for refusing to participate in politics is that you end up being governed by your inferiors. The first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself. To be conquered by yourself is of all things most shameful and vile. The measure of a man is what he does with power. Justice in the life and conduct of the state is possible only as first it resides in the hearts and souls of the citizens. He who commits injustice is ever made more wretched than he who suffers it. The heaviest penalty for declining to rule is to be ruled by someone inferior to yourself. At the touch of love, everyone becomes a poet. The greatest wealth is to live content with little. The laws are not made by the wise for themselves, but for the foolish, to keep them in order. Justice means minding one's own business and not meddling with other men's concerns. Any city, however small, is in fact divided into two. One, the city of the poor, the other of the rich. Knowledge, which is acquired under compulsion, obtains no hold on the mind. Wise men speak because they have something to say. Fools, because they have to say something. In politics, we presume that everyone who knows how to get votes knows how to administer a city or a state. When we are ill, we do not ask for the handsomest physician or the most eloquent one. Ideas are the source of all things. Courage is knowing what not to fear. There is no harm in repeating a good thing. The beginning is the most important part of the work. No law or ordinance is mightier than understanding. The greatest penalty of evil doing, namely, to grow into the likeness of bad men. A good decision is based on knowledge and not on numbers. We can easily forgive a child who is afraid of the dark. The real tragedy of life is when men are afraid of the light. The first and best victory is to conquer self. Poverty does not come from the diminution of wealth, but from the multiplication of desires. Democracy is a charming form of government, full of variety and disorder, and dispensing a sort of equality to equals and unequals alike. When the tyrant has disposed of foreign enemies by conquest or treaty, and there is nothing to fear from them, then he is always stirring up some war or other, in order that the people may require a leader. The price of apathy towards public affairs is to be ruled by evil men. The excessive increase of anything often causes a reaction in the opposite direction. He who commits injustice is ever made more wretched than he who suffers it. Necessity is the mother of invention. The punishment which the wise suffer, who refuse to take part in the government, is to live under the government of worse men. No wealth can ever make a bad man at peace with himself. The measure of a man is what he does with power. The direction in which education starts a man will determine his future life. Music gives a soul to the universe, wings to the mind, flight to the imagination, and life to everything. Character is simply habit long continued. Excess generally causes reaction and produces a change in the opposite direction, whether it be in the seasons or in individuals or in governments. The first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself. One of the penalties for refusing to participate in politics is that you end up being governed by your inferiors. The community, which has neither poverty nor riches, will always have the noblest principles. An empty vessel makes the loudest sound. So they that have the least wit are the greatest babblers. Every heart sings a song, incomplete, until another heart whispers back. Those who wish to sing always find a song. At the touch of a lover, everyone becomes a poet. Courage is a kind of salvation. There is in every one of us, even those who seem to be most moderate, a type of desire that is terrible, wild, and lawless. Wise men speak because they have something to say. Fools because they have to say something. He who is not a good servant will not be a good master. He who commits injustice is ever made more wretched than he who suffers it. The heaviest penalty for declining to rule is to be ruled by someone inferior to yourself.